I had waited months for this vacation, and finally, I was miles away from everything. No traffic, no meetings, no office noise, just trees, mountains, and silence. Then my phone started buzzing with messages from my boss. He wanted me working, even though I was officially on vacation. The message wasn't a request. It was an order disguised as an emergency. Richard expected me to open my laptop and start working immediately. I stared at the screen and realized I had a choice. I looked around at the wilderness I'd traveled so far to enjoy. For the first time, I realized the solution was incredibly simple. If my boss wanted me constantly available, I would make myself unavailable. So I turned off my phone. I shut down the laptop. I disconnected the unnecessary electronics and put my phone away. Then I stepped outside and locked the cabin door behind me. For the first time in years, I was completely off-grid. The next morning felt completely different. Instead of checking emails, I worked in my garden. I harvested tomatoes, peppers, beans, and fresh herbs for dinner. Nobody could schedule my time because nobody could reach me. By noon, I had forgotten about the office completely. I chopped firewood, repaired a fence, and cleaned up the property. Every task felt simple compared with the endless problems at work. For once, I was solving problems that actually mattered to me. That evening, I cooked dinner using vegetables I'd grown myself. There were no emails waiting for me, no meetings, no deadlines, no angry messages, just quiet. And I realized how badly I had needed it. Back at the office, Richard wasn't enjoying the silence. My unanswered messages were piling up. He called again, then again, then again. But my phone was sitting peacefully in a drawer hundreds of miles away. Richard finally started blaming everyone around him. He claimed the project couldn't survive without me, but that wasn't true. The real problem was that he had become dependent on someone he never respected. As the sun disappeared behind the mountains, I knew I had made the right decision. My boss could wait. The company could wait. For once, I wasn't running toward another deadline. I was finally living my own life. By Monday morning, Richard had turned my vacation into an office crisis. He demanded that everyone find a way to contact me. But there was one problem he hadn't considered. I had deliberately disappeared from the grid. While Richard was losing control, I was hiking deeper into the wilderness. There was no cell signal anywhere near the trail. Every step took me farther away from the noise of my old routine. And honestly, I had never felt better. I spent the afternoon beside a mountain stream. I filled my bottle, sat on a rock, and listened to the water. It was strange how peaceful life became when nobody could demand anything from me. I finally understood what being off-grid really meant. That night, Richard stayed at the office trying to fix the mess he'd created. He had spent years believing every employee should always be available. Now, he was discovering the cost of that attitude. For once, there was nobody left to rescue him. Back at the cabin, I found plenty of work that actually mattered. A section of the old fence needed repair. So I grabbed my tools and fixed it myself. Unlike office work, I could actually see the result when I finished. That night, I built a small fire and cooked dinner outside. The sky was filled with more stars than I had seen in years. My phone was still turned off, and for the first time, I didn't feel guilty about it. By the middle of the week, the executives wanted answers. Richard couldn't keep blaming my absence forever. They started asking why one employee's vacation had caused so much chaos. He finally had to admit the problem wasn't me. It was the system he had built. I returned to the cabin that afternoon, carrying firewood from the forest. My vacation was almost over, but something inside me had changed completely. I no longer wanted to return to the life where work controlled every minute. On my final morning, I finally turned my phone back on. Dozens of missed calls appeared instantly. I read them calmly instead of panicking. Then I made one decision that would change my career. When I returned, I walked into Richard's office and placed my resignation letter on his desk. I told him my time was no longer something he could control. I had gone off-grid to escape my job and discovered I could live without it. If you enjoyed this story, like and subscribe, and tell me in the comments, where are you watching from?